What's good, everybody? This is Adrian Per, and this is the Ambiance podcast.
All right, well let's get into it because I feel like we're gonna get pretty deep into like a lot of
for
things right now.
sure.
For those of you guys just tuning in, we got Adrian Per back for round 2 of Ambiance podcast. The first one was so fire. If you haven't checked that out, I'll leave a link in the description. But check out that first one. Adrian is basically a creative renaissance man. He does a lot of things. He's a film director, probably most well known, but does what, like coloring, editing, shooting, like
Honestly, just everything that's fun to me,
yeah.
whether it be anything that's creative, any way that I could express myself or kind of just get my creative expression. It's like the best way I can communicate.
Yeah.
I'm going to figure out a way to do it.
Let's talk about your life from that last episode, which is about 7 months ago, to now, because a lot of things have happened in your life. There's been a lot of changes.
Yeah.
Talk about some of the most notable ones for you.
What month was that, actually?
I think it was in late October, early
Damn,
November.
That's crazy. Well, for starters, I ended up getting COVID. That was crazy.
Damn.
I am now a father. A dog father.
Oh,
a
shit.
dog father.
Yo,
Got
I was
y'all.
like,
Got y'all.
no way.
Knee slapper right there.
Yeah, a
I'm,
little Doja, right? A Doge.
Yeah, I got a cute little Doge coin in real life, man. That guy is honestly just he doesn't look real, bro. Like, I just want to squeeze his head every time I look at him. Like, hey, buddy.
The thing
what are you
is,
doing?
too, you got him, or like you decided to get him before the Doge wave came, right? Like, was that plan?
I've been wanting a Shiba Inu since I was 19. Like, me and all my best friends, like me and two of my girl best friends, we've been obsessed with like Doge from the jump, from the first meme. Like, have you seen the original meme?
Oh, like it's just like, why is this so funny? Like,
Nah,
no,
it's just like a Shiba Inu, and it's like sitting like this. It's weird.
Okay.
But I've been obsessed with the Shiba Inu since, and I knew I was gonna call him Boba before I even got him. Like, this has been planned for years, and thankfully, like, I don't want to say thankfully the pandemic happened, but like life slowed down. I was like, okay, I could take care of a puppy, so I ended up getting that. Work capacity in 2020, it was at like 80 to 90%. There was slight stress here and there. Like, maybe for a stretch of 3 to 5 days, it would be at like 100% work capacity. But now that the world is open again, it's probably at like a constant 110% work capacity.
110%.
Sometimes 140 to 150.
And things have barely opened, so imagine after they're fully in the swing of things.
Right. And you know, I'm trying to figure it out, man. Like, how to create the proper structure so I'm not playing the 100% work capacity for me and like another 10% making up for it with somebody else who should be fully doing their job and another 15% on top of it. Like,
Yeah.
it's a lot. Like, you know, 2019 was like this, and then 2020 happened. Like, my clientele was rising, and now you mix like the 2019 workload with the pressure of working with like the higher caliber artists that I've acquired in 2020. It's new to me, man. Like, I'm still figuring it out. I'll be stepping on the set like, y'all trust me? I mean, shit. All right then. Like, let's get it. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
most of the game is firefighting, and like, even when you don't have it under control, you gotta act like it's under control. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
you were telling me over text too that a lot of these big gigs that you're getting, which are huge, like Lil Nas X and a lot of other artists, are all happen like in 48 hours, right? Or like they just get booked and you have to be ready to move, right?
Yes. Like, one of the Lil Nas X music videos I directed, I believe I had 12 hours to produce it. I was on set somewhere else, and that song Call Me By Your Name came out with the music video and whatnot already. And I've already worked with him previously, and he's great. Like, you know, I know the way they move. They're very militant with the shit. They're going to show up on time, and I'm like, okay, let me make sure I'm on point.
Yeah.
And within 12 hours, like, I've had it fully produced, had the location, had the concept fully done, just the entire thing. And their stylist and creative director came through. And a lot of the things that I've done, like, you would think the bigger the artist, the bigger the label, the bigger the budget, like, you'll have more lead time. But no, like, there's been huge shoots that have been done within like 48 hours.
So you just have to be ready to capitalize on the opportunity when it comes, right?
Yeah, even if you're not, you never know when you're ready for anything big in life. Like, was I ready for any of those? Maybe. I executed, but I think I was more ready mentally than where I was at a production standpoint. You kind of just like, the foot doesn't fit in the shoe yet, but I'm gonna grow while it's in the shoe. You feel me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
So I have a question based off of that. I'm sure at first these big opportunities that you started to get, it may have been a little bit scary to take them on because of what you just said. Like, damn, you guys trust me to do this? Like, I don't know if I could do this. I don't know if this is a thought in your head at all, but the more you do it and the more opportunities you take, does it get like easier each time, would you say?
It's different every gig because you're working with different personalities.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Yeah. It's not like you're DJing or producing music or something that has a constant. Like, at least you're in control of your own music. You know what I mean? When it comes to creating a commercial or a music video, you're working with, it could be a really entitled rapper. It could be a really sweet singer-songwriter. It's different every time. Like, I don't necessarily get nervous or scared. It's daunting for sure. But once I step on that set, like, all those thoughts of doubt, am I capable of this? They go away. Like, I'm meant to be here. I'm in this room for a reason.
Is that because you're confident in what you do as well?
Yeah. And I mean, I knew it before I was here. Like, you have to be. Mm-hmm. You have to know you are before you are. Fake it till you make it is different. Thin line there. But it takes a certain, like, amount of masking, like, fear. You can't approach something. I mean, being fearful is important. Shows you care. You know, things are on the line, but you can't step into, you know, whether it be the batter's box in the 9th inning World Series. You can't be fearful.
Yeah.
You can't be KD with the fear. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You can't perform, you know, as a director and conduct everything not having fully believing in yourself.
Yeah, and that's a big topic of discussion that we had on our last podcast. It's just like believing in yourself and not letting society tell you what you can and can't do, right? Because a lot of people try to impose that on you, right? You said when you were growing up that you couldn't be things that you wanted to be, and now you're living proof. And that's why I was excited to have you on again, because I'm like, man, what you were doing was already impressive. And now it's just like, in the past 7 months, you made so many more strides during like the time that we were in, like in COVID. I was just like, bro, Adrian's going crazy right now. Man, like you. Continuing to impress. So props to you. I gotta give you those flowers.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Most definitely.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Man, it's definitely been a crazy run. Like it feels surreal. Definitely grateful for it every day when I wake up, look at my apartment, like there's a roof over my head because of art.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm able to support other creatives' dreams, like have them make a living off of it. Like some of these people have families. Mm-hmm. And because for God knows what reason people trust me to handle their artwork, I'm able to provide that shit. And it's a trip, bro. Like I don't, there's not a single day that goes without me like just sitting and thinking about like, this is insane. Who would have thought? I always would have thought. Like I always knew.
You always thought.
But also at the same time, who would have thought?
Yeah. That is true. What do you think it is that allows these opportunities to come your way? Is it like an attraction thing? Is it just lots of hard work starting to pay off? Or what is it that attracts these blessings to you?
Attitude. Okay. Work ethic. Can you deliver and deliver on time? Do people like being around you? And then at the end of it, talent. And I say that at the end of it because we live in a city where the best of the best live here.
Yes, like, sir. That's true.
So much unrecognized talent just goes, I don't want to say wasted, but just falls on deaf ears every day. Like the business aspect. Can you handle your business? Are you a person of your word? that is so much more important than talent. Like, anybody can create what I do. Anybody could be in the director position with the best DP, the best gaffer and lighting crew. If they had that, anybody could be me. What they don't have is that fire, that will to, like, I will do anything and everything to execute this project, get it done on time, reply in a timely manner, make sure all of the business is handled correctly, and just put yourself in the positions that most creatives don't even realize it takes to transcend to that next level. And I think that's the most important thing. It's everything but talent. Talent is everywhere. There is an abundance of it in LA.
There's a lot of wasted talent too.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much the gist of it. Did I answer that?
No, you did. You did. Like, your attitude basically is the number one thing that brings you the blessings that you get today, and also those other things that you mentioned.
Yeah, it's 100% your attitude and your outlook and the energy that you bring to other people. Like, you have to be just as invested into that same vision as everybody else. You know, like, for example, whatever artist I'm working with, if we're going to create a music video or a commercial for their album, like, you got to believe in that project. You got to be passionate about that project. It's not necessarily yours. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? We're serving a client, and our art, commissioned art, like, you know, it is yours to a certain degree. But when they feel that you're passionate about making this person look like a superstar and you're a fan of that person, like, it kind of just, it's contagious.
Yeah, it sounds like it organically happens too. So the energy in that room is important. Another thing that you saw major strides in as well during the past 7 months was your company Lupia Watermelon, right? With the strides that you made with that. I saw you investing in, like, fleets, like Sprinter vans and whatnot, right? So, like, talk about the strides that you saw with your company.
We added a bigger van to our rental fleet. And it's aside from Lumpia Watermelon. So, like, Lumpia Watermelon is the production company with the directors, the producers, the editors, the colorists, like, the creative side. We haven't actually introduced the name or any advertising or marketing or publicity to the rental company that me and my other business partner made. Thing. Nah. So me and Chaz run Lumpia Watermelon. Me and my boy Toby, who's, like, one of my co-producers and DPs that I've worked with tightly for the past few years out here. We were just renting so much, like, lights and vans and whatnot, like, from other smaller companies. Like, yo, let's just set aside some racks, make a whole different business entity, and make it our own rental company. And since day one, since the first month, has been net positive. It's crazy. Like, and this is with no advertising.
So it's just a nameless company.
It has a name. It's called Cinelux, Cinelux.
Okay,
Cinelux, which means, like, cinema lights.
Yeah.
Basic. I mean, one day maybe we'll start advertising it. But I mean, as of now, like, I'll have shoots and I'll want to use our stuff, but it's already out on, like, a Facebook commercial. Really? Or on an Amazon commercial. Or it'll be on a different music video set, and I'm trying to rent it for, like, something I'm directing. And I'm like, fuck, okay, so what can we split from, you know, our gear?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's been crazy, man. And with the world opening back up again, it's like, shit, we might have to add another, bro. Like, honestly.
It's so smart, though, when you think about it, because obviously when you have these shoots or gigs, the client's giving you a budget specifically for the equipment. And if you own the equipment, that's your bread as well, right? Yeah. So you get the money for the shoot, and then you just rent the equipment from yourself. And you're just like pocketing that, right? It's smart.
Yeah, man. It's a nice little conflict of interest there.
Yeah, I hear you. But in the industry as well, I wanted you to speak about this, was financial literacy as a creative or in the entertainment industry as well.
Yeah.
So talk about the importance first off of just having multiple streams of income as a creative or as a freelancer.
Well, financial literacy, completely aside from, like, being creative, is super, super important. I mean, they kind of teach you that in school, like an econ class, or you could like pick a class to take in college. But I mean, at that point in our lives, like, yo, we just want to fucking party. Like, we don't give a fuck about this shit.
Yeah.
So I highly, highly suggest every single person, if you haven't done already, like, read up as to how to save money properly and what to hold that savings in. Because your money sitting in a bank account, in a savings account, is growing less than inflation, whatever those interest rates are. So, you know, there's multiple ways you can do it. And the most passive way is to open up an investment, an investment account, like a Roth IRA. Don't do individual stocks. I promise you, you will fucking lose unless you do a lot of research. But honestly, even when you start doing it, even when you're experienced, you're going to lose. I still lose to this day.
Yeah, you should expect to lose to learn, right?
Yeah. So at the base level, before you even, we even think about multiple streams of whether it be passive or semi-passive streams of income, you need to have your rainy day fund. Like, as a creative, if you're working as a freelancer, as a vendor, you turn your W-9 in to whoever your client is, just know you're making $70 out of every 100 you make. Mm-hmm. You're making 70 cents to every dollar. You got to pay your taxes. And if you're not paying your taxes, boy, let me tell you, because I've been fucked. Like, when I didn't have my shit together, like 2018, like the first time I made 6 figures, I was like, oh my God, like, I got to pay Uncle Sam for this shit, bro. It's been like 2 years. Like, I kind of like did some like tax evading shit. Finally got a CPA. It was like, you're going to get fucked. Do you want to go to jail? Nope. I don't think any of y'all want to go to jail. So please.
So you just didn't save for the fees for taxes, right?
Fuck no. I didn't know about any of that shit. Nobody taught me that, man. Like, I wish I did. But, you catch up to that landslide. You fix your mess. So you really would just want to be saving like literally 30 cents to every dollar you make. Yeah, man. Before you can even think about how do you make passive incomes or side hustles, like, get your savings straight, man. You never know what's going to happen to you, especially if you're a full-time creative. You don't have like a regular 9-to-5, save that shit. I promise you, like, going out there looking cool, buying the clothes or popping bottles is not fun when it comes to tax season.
At all.
Save money for taxes. Every single freelance creative out there, do it. And then after that, you want to look at different types of savings accounts.
Yeah.
So one of them being a Roth IRA. Okay, you could do CDs, you could do mutual funds, you could invest in gold and other commodities, but I promise you, the Roth IRA is the best. Why? Because they tax the money when it comes in, not when you take it out. So Robinhood is a very popular platform where people learn how to trade stocks on. That's great, but there's capital gains tax. So like, let's say you throw $10,000 in there, you know what I mean, and it grows to, let's say, 50. You make wins and you have big gains. You cash that shit out. Guess what? Like, almost half of that shit is going to taxes. Okay. Yeah. Let's say you have 10K in your Roth IRA, right? That shit's taxed on its way in. You're probably gonna have about $7,000 to play with. Well, let's say that $7,000 turns into proportionally, let's just call it like $43,000, right?
Okay.
Less than what your Robinhood account would have done. Guess what? That's all yours.
Yeah.
You already paid your taxes on the way in. You're paying taxes on the input, which is like the smaller end of the stick.
Versus just a traditional 401k plan where when you pull it out, then you get taxed at that point, right?
Just any individual stock account.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's not protected by the Roth IRA tax protection that they have. I don't know what the fuck they call it.
Yeah. And you're also betting on the fact that, like, whenever you retire or decide to take that money out, you're probably betting on the fact that you're going to be making a lot more money at that time in your life versus the time you're in today, which is what it should be like.
And there's an And there's only a maximum amount of money you could get the tax break on. It used to be $5,500. When I first started, it was like $5,500 a year. Now they raised it to $6,000. So you could throw $6,000 of pre-taxed money.
Oh, really?
And what you do in those accounts is just like Robinhood. You could, invest in mutual funds. You can invest in individual stocks. You can invest in ETFs. So, let's say, I don't know what the rate of inflation is, right? But it's more than what the interest rate in your savings account is going to be. Like, who knows what that is? It's like fucking what? Like less than 1% in a lot of those savings accounts. You pick a good ETF, which is like a bucket of little stocks, like proportional size fractions of stocks, right? Whether you want to do health, tech, bio, like whatever it may be, pick something that's going to grow. And most of the time they'll grow 7 to 10% if you want to play it really safe, which is already more than inflation. So if you play something really safe, you're going to be making more money per year than what it would be just doing sitting as cash in a savings account or cash at home. And if you're aggressive, like I've been aggressive, I put a lot of shit into stocks. I'm well diversified.
Right.
But what I'm making per year, let me see. This year, I'm up 45%.
Wow.
I'm at an all-time 133% growth. So if you play your cards right, your shit's not just going to go up 10 to 15%, some baby percentage. Let's say you max it out $6,000 every year. Let's just say you're aggressive like me, right? And your shit grows at a rate of like, let's just call it 50%, right? Your $6,000 is going to be fucking, $9,000 at the end of every year. And then you put in another $6,000 every year.
And the earlier
and it just it just compounds. Right. You know what I mean? You invest in the same stocks, you invest in the same ETFs or whatever you want to do, and you leave that shit in there, act like it doesn't exist for like 20, 30 years. Bro, like, who wouldn't want to do that? And most people don't know about this shit, bro.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like,
most people don't.
It's fucking free money. Whenever somebody asks me, like, what's your favorite thing to buy? Bro, more money. Fuck. More money to do shit with, period. Like, my favorite shit to buy ain't clothes. It ain't food. Well, food, actually. Let me take that
foodie,
back.
Bro.
It ain't rollies. It ain't none of that bullshit, man. I like buying more money with my money, period. Like, it's the easiest thing to do if you do the research right.
I was going to ask you where you learned all this from.
Coming up from a not financially literate family. You know what I mean? Like, my parents struggled a lot. So I wanted to do the complete opposite of what a lot of my family did. And not to shade, like, my family, but I know what it's like seeing bankruptcy, foreclosure, losing jobs, and not having a savings account. You know, I've seen it from my entire family. And it just pushed me to learn how to do everything that they didn't do. And shout out to YouTube University, man, because Lord knows I couldn't afford those classes in college.
Yeah.
I learned a lot of this shit from YouTube.
I think there's something to be said, too, about the fact that you took it upon yourself to seek this information, though, right? Because that's probably the most important thing. If you could either, I feel like, follow in your parents' footsteps or just carve your own path out like you did. Like, you have two options. So the fact that you went to go seek the information out yourself is the reason why this has even happened to you, right?
Yeah, man. And, like, you know, growing up, we didn't have much, if any at all. But my parents were good enough magicians to make me feel comfortable. You know, I never really understood why we couldn't buy some of the things we couldn't afford. And seeing what they had went through and just some of the hardships we had, like, I made it a point that you guys at some point are never going to have to worry about shit. When you retired, you ain't have to go worry about a single bill. And just seeing all that it still keeps me going every day. That's why I wake up every day working as hard as I work.
Yeah.
Like, it was all the wrong things that motivated me to do the right thing. Yeah.
That's fire. And it's so different when you could do it for your parents too. Because to me, that's the ultimate goal. Like being able to provide for my family and get them out their situation. Like, it's everybody's goal, right?
Yeah, man. It's my driving force. It's my biggest driving force. Like, to be able to buy your mom a car, or to be able to buy a house, to be able to send your sister on a vacation. It's like everything, bro. Like, I don't know. I knew I was going to do that.
Yeah. And I kind of want to get into now that, like, why we're here, why you wanted to talk about the ideologies that are currently installed in, like, our society today, right?
Yeah.
Whether that be with, like, lazy culture, and I think as you worded it, it's kind of lazy culture masked as protecting your energy, right? And
Absolutely.
so on. So talk about some of these things that you're noticing in the culture today, and the shift between, like, a hard work ethic towards, like, a laziness type of culture.
And before I say this, not one side is better than the other. I'm not saying what I'm doing is the end all be all, and I'm not saying being, the free spirited cruise through life, like, laziness is the right or wrong thing to do either. You just got to live your truth and what you want to do, and not shame anybody for, doing what they want to do. What I've noticed recently is, obviously, we live in a super hypersensitive time, right? And I don't blame people. Like, people didn't realize they had traumas that they needed to recover from. People don't realize they got to go through therapy for all the shit that they've been through. So I get it. Like, protect your mental health. That is first and foremost. Mm-hmm. What I don't fuck with is this, like, some people will look at somebody like me or any of my friends, whether they're athletes, producers, directors, DJs, and think what we're doing is toxic. The shit that we're preaching or the life we live is toxic because you deserve rest. You need your 8 hours of sleep. Well, yeah, sure. You do need your 8 hours of sleep, or at some point.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple times a week. I think sleep is really important, but there's this counterculture of anti-hustling, and it's become really popular. I've noticed on Twitter and on these fake woke Instagram pages. And does it bother me? No, not necessarily. It starts to bother me when people start believing this bullshit and thinking that, yeah, you know what? Maybe I don't need to work as hard. Like, it's a mixture of, like, I don't like Jeff Bezos, but if somebody handed me Jeff Bezos money, I'd still take it. So it's not that you don't want to be rich. You don't want to work for it. And people tend to shame and hate on people who want to work towards that. People say there's so many meanings for eat the rich, but, like, why are y'all so mad at rich people for it? Like, yo, they worked hard for it, whether it was given to them or not. Like, go get your own. Like, it doesn't have to be toxic. It doesn't have to be grind 24 hours a day. But that's the picture that a lot of people are painting. Like, I promise you probably don't want to deal with the stress that I deal with. Like, not a lot of people could do what I do or what a professional athlete does, or just anybody who wants to transcend into, like, being one of the greats at what they do. It's a lot. But people romanticize about it. They want that. They want that lifestyle. They want to be able to buy whatever they want. But when they fall short is when they make excuses for it and say, that's not it. Because you haven't gotten there yet. You haven't experienced that shit. Keep going. Like, it's not that hard. And I get it. Like, some people's lives are harder. Like, some people might have kids. Some people might have grandparents or parents they got to take care of. Some people really might not have the time and think that working every waking moment of your day isn't it. And it isn't. But when you start making that, like, its own counterculture of people who like to grind isn't it, and like you start shaming people, or I get messages from motherfuckers that think what I'm doing is wrong. It's like, fuck is you worried about me for? I'm not hurting anybody. Like, I'm providing jobs, motherfucker. Damn, what is you doing? You know, like, I don't know, man. There's so many different facets about it that, like, people, impressionable creatives can look at this and be like, you're right. Maybe I don't need to be great. Maybe I don't need to grind, but I can wish I was there. They want the awards. They want to reap the benefits. But since they're not quite there, or they're falling short, they've created this anti-hustle culture, which has been accepted and preached a lot recently. And I get it. Like, the pandemic was a lot for people to handle, you know? I mean, financially, mentally, all of that, you know? So people are mentally exhausted and drained, working hard and not receiving anything.
Yeah.
But I want people to know that, like, you ain't gonna get fucking nowhere wishing you was somewhere in your career and complaining about it, hating on motherfuckers up there, wishing you were there. Like, that's just not it. Like, I don't know where the fuck this sensitivity came from, where it started from, man. Like, this whole, like, I'm not gonna do work that I'm good at if I'm not getting paid. I'm not gonna work for exposure. Motherfucker, who's you? Like, you're nobody. You're not Kanye.
What value do you have?
Kanye still works for free. You feel me? Young Thug still works for free, man. Chris Brown will hop on the record for free. Like, sure, you've been creating fucking club flyers for 2 years. That's your resume? Congratulations. That's it? You went to art school? That's it? You deserve to get paid a fucking livable salary? Anybody could do what you fucking do, man. And, like, I'm so passionate about this shit because every single job is that cutthroat. If you want to do something where there's no competition, go do it. But if you're going to be playing in the field that we playing in, like, talent is barely any of it. Like I was saying earlier, like, I got into it with some people on Twitter about this shit. Like, oh man, there's so many things.
What's the argument that you usually hear for the counterculture?
That, let me go read this thing actually.
Okay, yeah. Let's read the receipts.
I love how millennials and Gen Z are collectively rejecting hustle culture. No, we will not work on rest days. No, we will not lose sleep for 2 hours. No, there is no glory in blind devotion to the grind. No, it's not admirable to work literally work oneself to the grave. No, it's not cool to work oneself to the grave. But what this is preaching is, like, it's okay to be lazy. It's okay to fall short, which it is. But at the end of the day, you're accepting being a fucking loser. You're making an excuse for being a fucking loser. If you're not first, honestly, second, third is the same thing as last. And when I say this, I don't mean competing with other creatives. I'm talking about yourself. You have a certain degree of, you know, moral and artistic integrity, or a pedestal I feel like you should hold yourself up on. Like, hold your head up fucking high. Like, when I see that shit, and a lot of people who do say that is coming from a place of disappointment
In themselves?
Yeah.
Like, their life didn't turn out how they wanted it to.
Yeah, because they got to do a deep dive into why are they not locking in that gig? Why are they not getting paid what they feel like they deserve to be paid? A lot of times it's entitlement. Mm-hmm. A lot of times is, no, I won't do that. I won't eat shit in order to get to where I want to be. Bro, some of my boys are high competitive athletes and they eat shit every day, having had been Super Bowl champions, having had been NBA champions. Like, even after they win, they know they still have to take a certain degree of eating shit to stay there or to get there or to not be passed up. And this culture of just cruising by, like, why the fuck you think we in debt as a fucking generation? Why are there not as many homeowners? Like, I get it. Inflation is going up. Well, inflate your fucking work ethic.
Ooh.
It's not that hard. It's simple.
That. Yeah.
It's really simple, man. And I'm not saying working more than 40 hours a week is it. And I'm not saying work yourself to the grave. But the ideology behind like the anti-grind culture ain't gonna get you nowhere but left behind. Because it's not like you're just cruising through life. There's people who are very anti that. And it's just like, dude, you're wasting your talent. You're wasting your time. Then you finna be 38 and doing what? Like, man, it's just...
I got a question. Why do you think... I think that there's a lot of people probably listening to this right now that agree with the points that you're making and the way that you're saying them too. But why do you think a lot of people are scared to express this type of ideology in the public spaces?
They're scared to be themselves. I think, like we said last time, you know, I have a lot of strong beliefs, and I'm not ashamed about it. Like, it's not that I have to be vocal about this shit I believe in, but if there's one person out there watching that needs that nudge, that wants to be the person they want to be, but is getting shamed or ridiculed for it, yo, I'm here for that person. Motherfuckers don't have to like me. I don't give a fuck. My parents are proud of me. My mom's retired and she ain't got to worry about no motherfucking bills ever again. So what anybody has to say about me, I don't give a fuck. Whether I do creative work from this day on and afterwards, one thing about me is I'm finna figure that motherfucker out. So I'm passionate about this shit, and I speak my mind because there's somebody there who might need to hear it, and that's scared to let that inner fucking beast out. Like, not even inner beast, just whoever they want to fucking be. And when you're unapologetically yourself and what you believe in, and it doesn't hurt anybody, and you're only growing and supporting yourself and your loved ones, some people are scared to be that even.
Yeah.
Whether it be following their dreams, whether it be leaving that shitty job you hate, like, all of that is just encompassed into why I act or preach the way I do. Like, so many people message me saying like, fuck, I needed to hear that. So I'm gonna continue being that, bro. Like, yeah. It doesn't have to be a million fucking people. Like, I'm happy changing one person's life, bro. And thankfully, I've had the opportunity to change a good amount, whether it be small or a lot. And obviously, I put that weight on my shoulders for being a spokesperson for that shit. Like, I don't have to be that. Yeah. But I want to.
Mm-hmm. You're very outspoken about it. And I think people can appreciate, and if not appreciate, at least respect the realness about it. You know what I mean? I think it's specifically like in the entertainment and creativity world, so to speak, that there's a lot of like power-driven decisions that are made. Like, for example, if you're in a room with somebody who's above you and they have an ideology that's like counterculture type of ideology, it's like if you're under that person, you're kind of scared to speak your mind out because of the position that you might lose because of it. Or with cancel culture, if you think different than the grain, like it could potentially ruin your career. I think there's a lot of that out there too, you know?
Yeah, I think as long as you're not racist, you've never been a sexual offender, a child rapist, murdered anybody, done anything that's really harmful to society. Yeah. Go fucking be who you want to be, bruh. Speak your mind. Because if you bend your morals in a way you don't want to, you do that job, you're going to hate yourself for just dealing with it, no matter what the monetary amount is. So why not speak or act or feel or be who you want to fucking be? And once you figure that out, I promise you, bro, life is more fun. It's easier. It's less stress. Not having to pretend to be somebody you're not.
Yeah. I want to play devil's advocate here because I'm sure there's somebody who's listening or watching who is like, nah, fuck that, Adrian, like I work a full-time job, I have kids, like it's easy for you to say you have this great network, you have an amazing job, you get paid all this money, like it's easy for you to say these things that you're saying. Whatever situation they're in, they think that it's different for them because they're in that situation, if that makes sense. What would you say to those type of people?
It wasn't easy for me in the beginning. I was a fucking 25-year-old making $19,000 a year, living in the Bay Area, live with my parents. Like, and I'm only going to use myself as an example. I done been through a lot of shit. If I could go through the shit that I've dealt with, obviously I don't have a kid. I don't have sick and dying loved ones that I gotta support. So yeah, it could be a little different. But I also know people who've had worse and has done more with it.
Yeah.
The only thing stopping anybody from getting what they want is themselves. You just don't want it bad enough. You can do it. You're gonna have to work late nights. But if you don't want to work late nights, you don't want it bad enough. You're going to have to work a day job while doing creative work if that's what you really want to do. A lot of people complain about, oh, this isn't sustainable because it's not going to make me money. Then don't quit your job, bro. Like,
yeah,
pay your bills.
You could do both too at first. You can have your job and do your passion on the side until it makes enough revenue until it takes over, right?
What a lot of people don't know is at one point, I was directing music videos for like I Am Sue, P-Lo, some of the most poppin' artists in the Bay, while working at a candy store for like $8 an hour.
Wow, really?
Yeah. I was working at a fucking candy store, bro, like fucking checking people out at the register, filling up candy bins. And I would also Uber. When I was a full-time producer and DJ for 3 years, I was Ubering for 2 of those years. Damn. Like, imagine, I've had multiple occasions where, imagine you playing your own show, you on the fucking flyer for, people are coming out to see you and buy tickets for, right? There's like 1,500 people there. Kill your set. Everybody there fucking knows you. Had an amazing show. You turn your Uber app on because you want to make a little bit extra cash. This happened in San Francisco. One of these shows that I remember, this is very specific. San Francisco to where I lived in the Bay Area is like 30 minutes away. I was like, okay, let me go Uber somebody in that direction and just make an extra like $15. Turned on the Uber app. The people who came in, first thing they said, oh shit, Adrian Per, you're an Uber driver? Oh shit, lit, you fucking killed it tonight.
Oh wow,
you know how fucking embarrassing that is? But I mean, hey man, like I'm making ends meet. Yeah. I still live with my parents. I had Diplo playing my music. I had Dylan Francis, Skrillex, everybody playing our shit. But I still had the, humility to fucking Uber, like whether it be looked down upon to be an Uber driver or a Postmates driver or work a minimum wage job. Like, nah, there's not a single fucking excuse you can make if you really want to do something. Take it from me that I didn't play the most lit shows and been recognized as an Uber driver. Like, imagine like 15 minutes prior to that, I was taking selfies with people. I was fucking, thanking people for coming out to our shit. And then I hopped on. I turned on my fucking Uber app in my Prius. I made like probably $11 out of the 15 or whatever the ride was finna be.
Yeah.
And they're tripping out. Like, damn, you still got an Uber? Yeah.
Here in their mind, shit. They think you have this like lavish lifestyle probably outside of that space, right?
Yeah. And like, even to this day, like, I'm still trying to figure out like what other streams of income, like we were talking about, more than just a savings account, just like DJing, running a club, opening up a restaurant, the rental company. There's so like clothing. Yeah. There's so many things you can do to support your shit, or working a 9 to 5. working corporate while you're creating like small business commercials. Like, it's not that hard if you really want to do it. You just got to fucking do it. It's a daunting task. Yeah. Not everybody's built for that. Everybody can romanticize it. Everybody wants that life, that money, that success, that freedom. But when they figure out like it's really hard to do that, it kind of scares them. Then they make their fucking excuses as to why that's toxic, as to why they've burnt out. It's just, it's a, I don't get it. It's just pure excuses.
Yeah, and I think that the people that do argue with you on that other side sometimes don't know the story that you just told. Like, they think that maybe you got things handed to you, or maybe things were a little bit easier for you than their current situation. But they don't know what you went through.
I can promise even my life right now is still harder than motherfuckers who haven't touched the amount of things that I've touched. I mean, it takes a lot to uphold that.
Yeah.
Not financially, just mentally. The mental strength is what you need. Knowing that I have an 80-hour work week, I don't look at that and get scared.
How sustainable do you think the lifestyle that you have right now is? How long do you think you could do it for?
I don't want to be doing it forever, but I mean, for what I want to do in life, I don't know. However long it takes me to get there. The goals that I want to achieve, the lives I want to change, the centers that I want to open, the people that I want to help put in the batter's box, the creatives that I want to give jobs to, the people that, didn't have a mentor. A lot of Filipino people who don't want to be a nurse and they want to be a stylist or a DJ or a director or producer or photographer. There's so many things that I got to do to have that credibility in order to do those things. So I don't know. Whenever that happens.
Whenever that happens.
Will I burn out? I haven't yet. I wake up every day blessed. I wake up appreciating what I do every day. It's hard to burn out loving something you do. And yes, there is a tipping point where having too much of something good is bad. There's a tipping point. But I think since it's so rapidly changing, the different artists, the different clients, it's a different battle every week. And it doesn't get stale, it doesn't get stagnant. And I create that. Anybody can create that.
Mm-hmm.
I think, like I said, if you really wanted to, you can. And it doesn't have to be the top trending artist in the world. Like, you don't just get there in a couple of years. Like, when I first moved to LA, I was carrying bags. I was fucking plugging in lights. I was rolling up extension cables. I was on a fucking $1 million Toyota set, up until 7 a.m. in the morning, fucking unplugging and cleaning up fucking chip bags. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, my life is probably 95% like grind and bullshit and 5% glorious.
And you've just started reaping the benefits of this long journey you've had, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy to think about.
Yeah, man. It's been a lot, Like we were saying earlier, like, none of this shit was given. Like, I've lived out of my car. I've couch surfed. I've woken up mornings not knowing where I'm finna shower. I woke up to when I was living out my car, the only thing that was making me money got stolen from me. Like, so don't give me no fucking excuses as to why you couldn't make something out of the little you had. I know people that grew up in the hood, in the projects, that are way more wealthier than me, that are doing way more at a younger age, who had less than me. So this, excuse as to their life being harder, things they got to take care of. I have people today, I mean, even with me, like, my grandma, the past, like, month has been in and out the hospital, could barely fucking breathe. I'm living on the most lit end of my life, where somebody who I love like the most in my life, one of the most closest people to me, is like, you know what I mean? Like, so there's no fucking excuse. And I'm not saying it's the healthiest thing for me to do that, but I want that. I want to achieve these things. I want to be fucking great. And if you don't want to be great, that's okay too. Like, if you want to live like a chill life, that's cool. Just this hating on people who grind, or people who think I'm too loud, or, you know, hating on people who are successful, or hella LA or Hollywood, or all that shit is just, it's dumb. Like, stop projecting your shortcomings onto people who are happy and don't even know you fucking exist.
Yeah.
It really is something else, man. Like, it's a lot of wasted energy.
What do you think is the best way for people to shift their ideology towards what you're saying?
Man, in the simplest way, stop being a lazy fuck. Like, go get up and get it. You want a six-pack? You're going to have to work really motherfucking hard in every aspect to get that six-pack. You want to make six figures? Go work some six-figure hours. And granted, there's some people who work 15 hours a week that make six figures, but they don't get there without working those 80-hour weeks for a good portion of their life. So you either got to stop romanticizing this life that you can't achieve, or just go out and fucking get it.
Or accept the outcome that you've created for yourself.
And, you know, there's so many people that I know personally that say they want to do whatever it is that they want to be successful in. I've given them the opportunities, and they've fallen short on it. And that's their own doing. You can't help somebody who doesn't want to help themselves more than you want to help them. So the next best thing they could do that's the easiest is throw shade on it.
Because it makes them feel better about themselves.
It makes them feel better about their failures. I fail all the time. I take L's all the time, bro. Like, to this day, all the time. Just take your wins like your losses.
Well, what I wanted to get into next was just like, if you notice this type of like counterculture happening in the entertainment industry specifically a lot, because I feel like amongst like the millennial creatives, I guess you could say, it's really like heightened, like the ideology that you're talking about. Like, there's a lot of sensitivity.
It's just creatives, or at least with what I've seen. Like, every artist I work with, or actor, or producer, DJ, even athlete, like, they wake up, they grind. Like, they don't have any entitlement issues. It's just this community of artists, creatives, whether they're graphic designers or videographers, photographers, lately have just been creating this counterculture of, I need to get paid for my services, and exposure is not a form of payment. Dude, my whole career is built off of doing free work and exposure. And to this day, with my resume, I still do free work. I still do work that's well under my pay grade. I don't give a fuck. Like, if I see it as a growing experience, if I see it as a place for my career in art to flourish, whether it be doing behind the scenes or, you know, like the shit lowest of the lowest job, I'm gonna take it. Like, I actually got into it with some people on Twitter. Like, hundreds of people were attacking me on Twitter and tweeting me some, yo, the way you think is toxic. The way you work isn't sustainable. Like, we need to get paid. And it was a shitstorm of people just commenting on how I conduct my work. And let's bring it back to that scenario. I had an acquaintance that tweeted something along the lines of exposure isn't a form of payment, but a lot of people say that, you know what I mean? And it's not just that acquaintance that I had, it's part of the counterculture of anti-grind, right? There's people that feel like, and I'm not saying it's wrong, okay? I'm not saying, and that's me not saying what I think is right either. But in order to, like I said, be great or transcend to the next level, you gotta be aware enough of what your art's value is. You can't just be making club flyers or pitch decks or passion projects for people that's not Maybelline or Toyota or fucking charting artists and expect to get paid just as much as people who are. Like, it's like the $15 an hour working at McDonald's shit. Yes, like I believe everybody should get paid a living wage. But a lot of these graphic designers or photographers or, you know, new videographers think they're going to make $100 to $150 an hour right off the bat. And it's not. Coming from a 26-year-old, 27-year-old still living with his fucking parents, that's not it. I was directing E40, G-Eazy. Damn near the biggest in the Bay, and I still couldn't even move out that motherfucker, man. So, and I done been doing this shit for years.
Right.
And same with all my other friends who are winning MTV Music Video Awards, fucking Emmys, big accolades. They didn't feel entitled. They still take free work.
Yep.
You know, I just don't, I don't know where this overly valued, overly inflated sense of self came from. Because some people could look at me and be like, he's too outspoken. He thinks too highly of himself. I don't like the way he you know, portrays himself or projects his ideas. Well, guess what? This is why you complaining, and this is why my shit's on Times Square and on primetime television. This is why my art doesn't end up just falling on deaf eyes and ears on Twitter, and why my shit's on billboards. Because however anybody feels about how I project my ideologies, it'll get you to that next level. And I'm not saying that next level isn't the end all be all, but I can guarantee if a motherfucker wanted his art on a billboard or on buses, like, they would take that shit any day. They just feel like they deserve to get paid a certain amount for it or won't take it for exposure. They don't calculate the growth to monetary factor. And that's just kind of like why they end up where they at. Yeah. And you really got to step out your comfort zone and just suck that shit up, pack your ego in a box, kick it in the trash. While it may seem like I have a shit ton of ego or confidence where I'm speaking from, when it comes down to me having to do the work that it takes for me to get to the next level, that ego's out the window. Like the Polo G shit that I'm working on, right? Did a lot of the, you know, I've worked a lot with Polo G. That dude just debuted his album at #1. Yeah. Was really close to his team, working on the, you know, video campaigns, just the entire package. I started out working with him doing behind the scenes, $500. Yeah, my rate for me to just come out with me and my Red camera back then was $4K, right? I did that shit for $500 for me and my Red camera, and I ended up shooting the album cover for it just because I was there. Wow. And then it went platinum, and then they issued me a plaque. I saw the growth in that. Some people might say, man, I'm too good to do BTS. I'm too good to be carrying bags. I'm too good to be doing this low level work, or what most people would think is low level work. I saw it as an opportunity to grow. And some people can't calculate that. And they think they're too good for it. Fuck no. Bro, I shoot some behind this. I can direct a Lil Nas X video that is trending worldwide. And I could also shoot behind the scenes for him. I don't give a fuck what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I see the growth in that.
Yeah. And you would have never gotten these type of opportunities if you didn't believe in yourself to be able to capitalize on the opportunity, right? Like I feel like there can always be an opportunity that stems from doing something free. Every creative that I've had on that's successful, every artist that I've interviewed, they've all done free work. I've never talked to somebody that's successful and didn't do free work at some point in their career.
That's because everybody you've invited on here is doing something, right?
Yeah.
Everybody who's doing something ain't complaining on Twitter.
Nah, they doing shit.
But that's only like the top 1% of fucking people who do shit. Yeah. Like a lot of people, believe it or not, have that ideology of, I need to get paid for everything. I need to have a contract and agreement. I need my deposit. You heard me on the phone earlier talking to a label head. Yeah. Yo, do you need me to front this money? Mm-hmm. Bro, not only do I not take deposits sometimes, I will take literally tens of thousands of dollars out of my own personal savings account in my business account and make sure a shoot gets done.
That's literally putting your money where your mouth is.
Absolutely.
Literally.
Some creatives might say, that's stupid. Protect yourself. Who the fuck wants to work with somebody who's giving you that much pushback? Because there's another talented motherfucker who's trying to take your position. I'm trying to do everything so that other talented dude, I can't even see him in the rear view because I'm doing not only what my job is, I'm doing above and beyond that shit. Because there's a whole lot of me's out there. There's a whole lot of people who want to go above and beyond. Like, who am I to say I deserve all this extra shit and entitlement? Bro, I'm replaceable. Mm-hmm. I know I'm replaceable. I know I'm an incredible human being and a creative. But in this industry, I ain't shit. I haven't made a name for myself like that yet. So you just kind of got to know where you stand.
Yeah, and I think it's okay to know your value, like in situations, of course, but like you said earlier, taking calculated risks. Like, you can be able to make that judgment for yourself whether or not you want to do a gig for free based on how well you know your value, right? Like, yeah. I'm sure there's situations where you say no to a lot of gigs, I'm sure, right? At the same time.
Yeah.
Because you don't see the value in what it could do for you and versus whatever rate that you set, I'm assuming.
Yeah, they're calculated risks. And some of them don't work out. Some of them fall on false promises. Some people out there owe me money. Like, it's part of the game, man. And if you're not willing to play that game, you playing the wrong game. Go do something else. Real shit. Like, it's not for the lighthearted. It's not for the easily, manipulated. It's not for the overly sensitive. You got to have thick skin if you want to make it in the creative or athletic or entertainment. Any of these fields where you're self-made and everything is predicated on how hard you work, flat out, like, this ain't for you.
Yeah, and it's like you're in the top 1% of what you do, and I feel like everybody wants to be in that top 1%, but they don't want to put the work in that it takes to get into the top 1% that you're at, right?
Absolutely not. Every day is still a battle. But I love it. It's a fun battle. It's a different battle every week. But, like, goes back to what we were saying earlier. It's this new thing where they look at that or where they want to be and they see what it takes to get there, then they hate on it. I don't understand that.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to be lazy, just say that. Mm-hmm. If you a hater, just say that.
Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah, I feel like this is going to be a reoccurring theme for some time now, as far as just, I hope that this ideology doesn't take over like a majority of our generation?
I don't think it will. I think the people who really want to be something, you know, leave this earth with something special, it's a non-factor. It's a non-factor to me. Like, I don't give a fuck about what those 99% of other people who believe that think. I care about the people who might be persuaded that maybe this isn't meant for me when they're incredibly talented. Like, I've had the opportunity to take people who've DM'd me and say, yo, you inspire me. Like, I needed to hear that. I did this because I heard you say this that helped change their career path. I brought people onto my sets that now do this shit full time or whatever they wanted to do. I have that I have that platform to be able to do that. So if an impressionable kid sees what this anti-grind counterculture shit is preaching and they're like, you know what? Maybe they're right. And everything that like Adrian or all those other people who grind really hard is doing isn't the right thing. And they go off and live a fucking, half-fulfilled life. I want to change that. I want to let you know, like, it's a lot, bro. Like, trust me, you're going to have a lot of nights fucking just literally you want to fucking die. But it's better to be feeling like you're going to die doing shit you love than dying doing shit you don't.
Yeah.
So
I don't know what it is, but I can't be average. I just can't be basic. Like, that shit scares the fuck out of me. Like, a basic normal life that's comfortable and like stable, like, I want exceptional shit to happen. You know what I mean? So you need to do exceptional shit in order to make those exceptional things happen.
Why be ordinary when you could be a little extra?
Mm-hmm.
Extraordinary people. And I'm not saying how we want to conduct our lives is right either. I used to not understand people who want to just cruise through life or be basic. There's a beauty in that also. I would never hate on it. I used to not understand it. I used to talk down upon it. I could say that much. Like, why would you just want to stay in your comfort zone? What people see is like the pinnacle of their life might be right here, getting the family, getting the house and all that shit. Where that stands in my list of shit that I want to do is, the shit I want to do is up here. And like getting the house and the family, all that shit, it's down here. And we all start here. I will get to that, but like there's so much more shit that I won't feel fulfilled by if I don't do it. Yeah. And not one is better, not one is correct or incorrect. I just, people are going to conduct their lives however they want to. But when that shit starts like spilling and bleeding into people who really want to live this other life, that's when I'm going to step and be like, no, like what you're preaching is not cool. Like, keep that shit to yourself.
Yeah. And it's okay, like you said. And you said this earlier too. Like, it takes a certain amount of crazy to be successful in the shit that you're doing, right? Like,
yeah, it takes not narcissism, but some narcissistic qualities. Like, you got to know you're the shit before you're the shit. You got to know you there before you there.
Yeah.
Like, I always knew before the money, before the accolades, before the cars, before everything, I still acted the same way. Like, you just gotta fit in to your own personality, be who you want to be, believe in yourself, man. As cliche as that sounds, like, it's really all it takes.
Yeah. For all these like hardworking days that you have, or these long hours that you work, what do you do to not fatigue yourself, or how do you last this long?
Golf.
Golf, that's like your meditation zen, huh?
Yeah, but you'll be surprised how upset I'd be getting on the golf course. Golf is my only hobby. other than the shit I already do. I always be saying if I had a 9 to 5, I'd be doing directing, photography, producing, all this shit as a hobby for fucking free. The fact that people want to pay me for this shit, insane. I don't take it for granted every single time I get paid for it. Like, okay, I didn't choose this job. Y'all chose this job for me. So, yeah, golf is my little getaway. You know, it started out real fun, real, bright-eyed.
Innocent.
And I wanted to get good at it. And just like you, I want to be good at fucking everything that I do.
Yeah.
I promise you, if I wanted a 6-pack, I'd probably end up with a motherfucking 6-pack. I just don't want it bad enough. Can't eat like shit. Like, I'm going to eat clean. I have no interest in being fucking ripped. But I like being healthy. And I am trying. I've not as heavy as I was last time I was on the show. Yeah,
that's facts. Yeah, you look a lot slimmer. You look a lot healthier, too.
Thank you. But yeah, golf. And golf is such a sport for perfectionists because even the pros have their bad days, you know? Yeah. Like, golf is every minute detail and fundamental is so important, from the way you hold the club, where the ball is placed in between your feet, the distance you are from the ball, the way you wind up and take your backswing, down to the impact and the follow through. So not only do you have 4 football lengths of a hole to hit this golf ball into a hole this big, you got to do it in 4 shots or you're penalized for it. Can you imagine that? You got to hit that motherfucker 4 football fields long with a tiny ass club and hope that it goes fucking straight and you don't run into trees, sand, water. And then you get there in hopefully 2 or 3. And then you got to putt the fucking ball into the hole. Depending on, like, how is the green, like, sloped or undulated, like.
The wind.
So many fucking things.
Yeah.
It's really a game for people who strive for perfection. Because we're chasing that perfection. It's not obtainable. Perfection is not obtainable. But we're striving for it.
Yeah.
Every single time we're out on the golf course. Every single time I make a video. Every single time I'm out making, a beat. Every single time I'm doing a DJ set. We strive for perfection.
These qualities apply to every aspect of your life, right?
Golf is such a reflection of how you conduct your life. Because there's people who will make white lies on the golf course. Will be shaving strokes. I'm definitely guilty of, like, shaving strokes or moving my ball. And, it is a reflection of how I may move. There are completely honest golfers out there. Can I say I'm completely honest? Probably 99.5% of the time. Maybe less. Depending on how I feel that day. And I'm not saying that's how I conduct business, but there are moves that I got to make to maneuver and position myself in more desirable positions and attack angles, whether it be from a business standpoint or at a golf course. It's a complete reflection of how somebody's personality may be.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of parallels that run alongside. And it's just like you said, nobody's perfect. Nobody's gonna be perfect on the golf course either.
Nah, even the pros, even Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
They're not perfect on the golf course.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I love about it, man. Like, it's the one place that humble the shit out of me, bro. Like, there's not that many things that can humble the shit out of me and make me feel like I am not worthy. The golf course will literally, like, grab me by the nuts upside down and be like, you ain't shit, motherfucker, man. Like, go home. Why are you spending all this goddamn money just to be shit?
I think it's important, though, to have a good amount of suck in your life, like shitty things to happen. Like, it's important to have those things that humble you. Like, it helps you grow as a person.
100%. The day I become stupid good at golf, it won't be as fun.
That's a good way to put it. That's a great way to put it. You'll want to find something else that'll humble the fuck out of you.
Yeah, just... I think that's why I like crazy girls. No, I take that back.
Crazy complex.
That's why I like girls who would tell me that I ain't shit. Like, I like that balance. Like, I'm gassed up every day I love your work. You're great at what you do. Or girls that say, guys and girls that say, like, I'm great at whatever it is. Like, tell me when I'm being an asshole. Like, tell me when, sit the fuck down, humble yourself. Like, I need that balance. And I'm not saying I can't work on that and be self-aware enough, but having somebody who's not scared to tell you that or make you feel like that and humble you is super important. Thankfully, I have best friends that do that shit. But the golf course will definitely make you feel like that.
Because you can't lie to yourself on the golf course. Like, you know what I mean? But you know in your head, like, how you did, and maybe if you like stop golfing for a month, you're probably going to notice it, right? When you go back to the golf course.
For sure. When you lie on the golf course, you live with that fucking lie. Just like in real life. You? Yeah, man. It's just kick your ball a little bit this way.
You just thinking about it a few days later, like, damn, I really did that.
If you score like, the best you've ever scored, your friend's gonna clown you, be like, oh, that was an asterisk game. Like an asterisk, like, hey, you kind of had a good game. You know what I mean? And we all clown on each other. Like, we're not good golfers. Yeah. But yeah, man, it's just, fuck. That's what keeps me balanced.
Okay. So do you take any supplements?
I do actually.
You do?
In the morning, yeah.
Yeah, what kind of supplements you take?
I take this, not necessarily a fat burner. It's a non-stimulant fat burner. So it has like, fuck, I forgot all the shit that's in it. But it was like the highest rated one. Okay. I saw good reviews on that shit.
That's what matters. Yeah. I asked because I recently started taking this supplement right here. It's called Unlimiter. And usually, like, I don't like taking supplements. I like to be, like, mostly natural because I don't want to become reliant on something. But every time I'm, like, feeling burnt out after, like, a long week of editing or podcasts and things just start to stack up. I do marketing, too. Yeah. So I take this on the days that I'm feeling burnt out, and it just makes me feel, like, rejuvenated for the entire day. Okay. Bro, I'll shoot some of this over to you. Trust me, you're gonna like it, especially because you're a workaholic. So I feel like you need something to put you in that zone.
I'm scared I might get addicted.
Exactly, bro. That's the nervous part about it. I'm like, I don't want to over abuse this thing. I want to take it when I need it, but when I take it when I need it, bro, I'm moving and grooving.
Yeah, I mean, it's better than the other alternatives that wake you up.
Yeah.
Caffeine. I'm talking about caffeine. I'm talking about. What do you think I was talking about, bro?
I don't know. I don't know what they do. I'm dead. Man. But funny thing is, I don't even drink coffee, bro.
Really?
Yeah, I don't drink coffee.
That's good.
All. I know that if I start though, like, probably.
I'm reliant on this shit. Like, my fucking life, not just Phil's coffee, but just like caffeine in general. Just because I'm not getting enough sleep as I should be.
Yeah.
So it's a good little pick me up throughout the day.
What's the Adrian Per order?
It depends. If I'm getting espresso, it's a different order than when I'm getting like this kind of coffee. I don't know what kind of coffee this is. I think it's like called drip coffee. I don't know.
Okay.
Or French press. You fucking don't slaughter me. I don't fucking know what kind of coffee. Crack.
It's crack. There's just crack in there. Okay.
Yeah. It's not espresso. So
okay.
It depends. Like, I like my regular iced lattes, and sometimes I just like taking espresso shots. Sometimes I like some a little sweet and minty.
Okay.
Really just depends on what I'm feeling.
I see you got the mojito in there.
Yeah, this is the iced mint mojito. It's a minty, creamy, with oat milk. It's amazing. It's heaven in a cup.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Phil. Shout out to the Bay.
Yeah, it makes me feel at home drinking that.
Yeah, in the city of LA. What are you most looking forward to now that the outside is open? You said you've been having some fun lately, right?
Oh man, what am I looking forward to? Honestly, just socializing.
Yeah,
I'm social when I want to be. I'm very antisocial when I don't want to be talked to. Because there's some times where I be going out and I'm just like, stay the fuck away from me. But we're in a city where there's a whole bunch of different walks of life, and just talking to people you don't know. Whether you sustain a friendship, a relationship, or it ends right there. Like, just speaking and taking in somebody's energy, it's interesting. Talking to somebody that just moved from Vienna. Like, that's an experience that I had. They've been here for like a month, and I'm just like, wow, tell me about your fucking experience. And that's some shit that you don't that we weren't getting like throughout the pandemic. Just being stimulated by all the walks of life, meeting people, and I think that's the most exciting thing.
Yeah, I feel like life's just moving crazy fast right now since things have opened up, and it's kind of like a new feeling and energy that I haven't really felt before. It feels weird. I can't really explain it.
It's the gold rush of being outside.
Yeah.
It's like after the first 3 months, it's going to be back to like the summer of 2019. Like, oh, okay, this is normal.
This seems familiar.
Yeah,
Man, it's been expensive too. Like,
bro,
things opened up. The amount of money I spent, bro, just this month alone has been insane.
Man, I went to our homie's party at Lock and Key. I was so juiced to be out. I was like, this line of shots is on me. Oh, y'all want a bottle? I got it. Oh, how many of us is here? Oh, can we do 7 instead of 5? Oh, there's one more. Can we do 8? Can we add 3 more to that order? I just be trigger happy, bruh. Like, I'm happy to see people I ain't seen in a year or so.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, the outside is expensive,
bro.
God damn.
Straight up. Yeah, I was the same way. I was in Cabo a couple weeks ago, and I didn't look at my bank account for like 6 days. But after I did, I was just like, man, I can't. This isn't sustainable. And it's just like in summertime, there's so many things happen. It was Memorial Weekend. It's Juneteenth weekend. It's 4th of July next week. Like,
oh my God,
every week. Is it next week?
I think it's in a couple. Yeah, I mean, basically,
yeah, because this weekend, next weekend, yeah.
Damn, bro.
It's always something.
I'm about to start not doing shit again.
Take your ass back inside.
Right. Fuck. The outside costs so much money, bro.
Yeah.
But I mean, just be smart.
Mm-hmm.
You don't do it to impress other people. Don't do it for the Instagram photo. Do it because you actually want to do it.
Yeah. Is that something you kind of taken from all of 2020 or just being in quarantine? Is just like valuing your time with people more than like the Instagram, IG, like?
I've always valued that.
Yeah.
Like,
that's never been an issue for you?
No.
Okay.
Like that clout world or people that, do things just for the photo, like that doesn't exist in my world. Like, I run into it.
Yeah.
I've talked to people who are consumed by it, but I don't allow that into my bubble, my energy, my space, because that shit's draining just to watch. Like,
yeah,
bro, it's disgusting. I think it might be a mental illness, clout chasing, wanting to be seen. There's more male groupies than girl groupies, bro. Like, it's nuts. People who want to be at Drake's table or like take a selfie near his booth or fucking behind the scenes, post that they were part of a set that they really weren't really a, big part of. God, that's
so cringy, bro.
Ugh, God.
It's the ultimate cringy.
It makes you want to fucking throw up.
Yeah.
If I wanted to take advantage of all the people I've worked with and post selfies with them, God damn it, my Instagram page would be fucking lit. But that shit is hurt as fuck to me.
Yeah, no, I hear you, bro. And it's there's a lot of it in Los Angeles, especially.
It's terrible. Yikes.
Yeah. So the Bay's not like this?
It's a little different. The Bay is it's a lot of hater shit in the Bay. There's also a lot of unity in like that top like 1%. But no, there's no clout chasing in the Bay. No. It's more dispersed, like fake. The negatives. I'm talking about just the negatives here. Don't kill me, Bay Area. There's a lot of positives. But on the negative side, it's more so haterism.
Haterism.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But no clout chasing.
Man, Adrian, this has been fun. I appreciate you speaking mind on what you feel you're passionate about and actually taking a stance for what you think and the way that you think things should be, especially in a world today where a lot of people are scared to speak mind on what they truly believe. So I got to say, I appreciate you really coming through and giving us the real today.
Thank you. And like I said, if you're not racist, a rapist, a sex offender, a child molester, a fucking murderer, any of that weird shit, Go live your motherfucking life. If you ain't hurting anybody, you're not committing no deadly sins to society, stop being afraid to be you, man. Like, who gives a fuck what people think if you're happy with yourself? Whether that mean you do some like trading card type shit, comic books, cosplay, whatever the fuck people think might not be cool, but it's cool to you, bro. Do that shit. Bro, if you die tomorrow and not having fulfilled what you want to fucking do because other people made you feel like it wasn't okay to be who you truly are, man, shame on you. It's a disservice to your parents or whoever raised you, gave you fucking birth. Like, it's a disservice to yourself and everybody who loves you for you to not truly be yourself. So please, fuck what everybody else thinks.
I love it. We're going to end on that. I don't got nothing better to say than what you just said. So from Ambiance, this is Levi, Adrian Per. Comment down below if you want a part 3. You might have to run a part 3 back with my man AP. All right. Peace.